Grant Amato wasn't someone who stood out. He wasn't known for aggression, didn't have a violent past, and to most people, he appeared quiet, reserved, almost invisible. But behind closed doors and behind a screen, he was living a completely different life, one built on obsession, fantasy, and a version of reality that didn't exist. In January 2019, police responded to a home in Florida after a welfare check raised concerns, and what they found inside was something deeply unsettling. 3 members of a family had been killed, and the only person left alive in the house was Grant Amato. At first, nothing made sense. There were no signs of forced entry, no clear evidence of an outside intruder, and no immediate explanation for what had happened. But as investigators began to look closer, the story that unfolded wasn't one of a sudden act of violence. It was the result of something that had been building for months. Grant grew up in what appeared to be a stable, middle-class home, raised by parents who provided structure and support. He pursued a career in nursing and worked in the medical field, which only reinforced the image of someone living a normal, functional life. But beneath that surface, things had started to unravel. Grant began spending increasing amounts of time online, gradually isolating himself from the real world, and eventually he became fixated on a live streaming campsite. That's where he encountered a woman, a model thousands of miles away, someone he had never met in person but became emotionally attached to in a way that blurred the line between reality and illusion. What started as occasional tips and interactions quickly escalated into something much deeper for him. He began sending money, first in small amounts, then larger, and eventually it became a pattern of behavior that spiraled out of control. Over time, Grant sent tens of thousands of dollars to this woman, believing he was building a genuine relationship, even though, in reality, the interaction was transactional and one-sided. To him, it wasn't just entertainment, it was connection, validation, and escape. But the financial strain didn't go unnoticed. His family began to see the signs: missing money, erratic behavior, and inconsistencies in his explanations. They confronted him, not just once, but multiple times, trying to understand what was happening and to intervene before things got worse. They restricted his access to finances, took steps to hold him accountable, and tried to pull him back into reality. For a moment, it seemed like there might be a turning point. But instead of breaking the cycle, the pressure only intensified it. Grant's sense of control was slipping, and the life he had constructed online was collapsing under the weight of real-world consequences. Rather than letting go, he became more desperate to maintain the illusion. Investigators would later uncover that even after being confronted and restricted, he continued trying to find ways to send money, to reconnect, to preserve something that was never truly there. And then, everything escalated. On the night of the incident, something shifted from obsession to irreversible action. When police arrived and began piecing together the timeline, inconsistencies started to appear. The lack of forced entry, the positioning of evidence, and Grant's behavior all raised questions. As they dug deeper, the narrative of an external threat began to fall apart, and what emerged instead was a disturbing picture of someone who had reached a breaking point. This wasn't a spontaneous act. It was the culmination of prolonged isolation, financial ruin, and a psychological dependence on a fabricated relationship. In cases like this, the behavior often stems from a mix of factors: loneliness, escapism, identity distortion, and an inability to reconcile fantasy with reality. Grant had built a version of his life that only existed online, and when that version was threatened, he didn't adapt. He escalated. The consequences were devastating and irreversible. Grant Amato was eventually convicted and sentenced to life in prison, but the story doesn't end there. Because what makes this case so disturbing isn't just what happened. It's how it happened. It's how someone with no prior history of violence could gradually lose grip on reality. How an online interaction could evolve into a full psychological dependency. And how, when that fragile system collapsed, it triggered a chain of events that destroyed everything around him. This wasn't just about obsession. It was about control, denial, and the dangerous space where fantasy replaces reality. And in the end, the most unsettling part is realizing that nothing about it felt extreme at the beginning. It built slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, until it was too late to stop. If you found this case as disturbing as it is fascinating, make sure to like the video so more people can discover these stories, and subscribe to the channel for more lesser-known true crime cases told through cinematic storytelling.